Hello and welcome back to another video of TOI Auto, and today me and Akash Paul here will be reviewing the facelifted 2023 Kia Seltos.
Now Kia is calling it the Badass 2.0 and that is why the two of us are reviewing it and हम आपको बताएंगे कि इसमें changes क्या हुए हैं, इसके इंटीरियर में फीचर्स क्या ऐड हुए हैं, इसके ADAS की टेस्टिंग भी करेंगे और प्राइस के बारे में भी बात करेंगे एंड आपको बताएंगे कि पुरानी वाली सेल्टोस के मुकाबले ये बेटर वाकई में है या नहीं है।
Now before we start talking about what all has been upgraded in the 2023 Seltos, for perspective मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूँ that I am personally an SUV owner. I like big and brawny SUVs because of the obvious benefits they give to me on bad roads and even in city conditions. Akash on the other hand is more of an enthusiast.
Exactly. And I like low slung sedans or hatchbacks. I want more performance around the corners. I want more performance from the gearbox. So generally SUVs में वो नहीं होता, but let's see if the Seltos is any different.
Of course, because ये है एक mid-sized SUV, but Kia has retuned the top-of-the-line engine option to offer 160 PS of power and 253 Newton meters of torque this time.
So let's see how it fares on the road. अमर बाहर हो रही है बारिश and I don't feel like getting drenched in the rain. So let's talk about the design अंदर बैठ के ही. So
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
I mean, let me know what you think of the new design.
The new design, I really like it, but it has got some caveats to it that I would say. But main point in focus, the Seltos has become really aggressive when compared to the earlier model. Although the lower trims will remind you of the earlier model, the upper trims most significantly have got a major redesign to the front of the SUV, which starts with the elongated DRS that it gets now, the redesigned tiger nose, which is iconic Kia design language, and also the lower part of the front bumper, which has got different plastic elements to make it look more aggressive this time around.
And even जो GT line है and X line है उसके भी bumper में there is a difference in design. So even if you buy those different trims of this new car, आपको थोड़ा differentiation factor वो मिलेगा अगर आप ऐसे vehicle ढूंढते हैं जिसमें if you're paying for let's say the higher trim and you want that differentiating factor कि देख के पता लग जाए कि हाँ.
Which is actually a very good thing because काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि manufacturers variants तो बहुत निकालते हैं and they are priced very differently from each other. But customer के लिए ज़्यादा पैसे देने के बाद भी the car looks very similar to the lower trims, which is not the case in the 2023 Seltos. So that is something that I liked a lot.
And मेरे को जो सबसे अच्छी चीज़ लगी वो है जो इसके नए tail lamps है. You have that connected unit obviously जो कि vertical हो जाता है towards the end. And it reminded me of a certain wrestler from the late 80s and early 90s. अगर आपको पता है मैं किसकी बात कर रहा हूँ तो comments में ज़रूर लिखिएगा. But that really looks good whether it's day or night, so that is something which I really like. Now the alloy wheels. First number I would like to ask you, बहुत सारे अलग-अलग alloy wheel designs हैं. So what do you think of those? You even have an 18-inch option. So पहले you tell me, I'll tell you one thing.
So across all the variants of the Seltos, the lower trims get a 17-inch alloy wheel and the higher trims get an 18-inch alloy wheel. But personally मेरे को तो design and the cut of the 17-inch alloy wheel, I liked it much more better. It looks more modern to me than the petal design that they have on the 18-inch alloy wheels that come with the GT line and the X line that we are driving right now.
And one more thing which I personally felt कि obviously आजकल सब लोगों को बड़े-बड़े alloys चाहिए, इस गाने भी आजकल ऐसे ही आ रहे हैं. But I think for this one, I think the 18 is just a little too big. It's filling up the wheel arch completely, and it just feels like ज़बरदस्ती like it's there ठूसा हुआ है.
It's filling up the wheel arch, but when you look at the car from behind, it is very slim also.
Yes, that is.
I mean, you cannot blame that because it adds to the fuel efficiency of the vehicle, but still.
Yes, that is there.
Now, the car that we are driving right now is finished in silver. This is the GT line, I think, Akash, right?
Yes, this
But
is
then, did you see the X line? The matte finish is still being offered. It's still being offered in the new Seltos. What do you think about that one?
that is chef's kiss, because we saw it in person and that looks so good. It looks so well done, and personally, if I were to buy, I would try and just collect money and get that model.
Not the new green shade that they are offering this time.
No, I'm like all for that black matte color.
That's great. That's great. But I think it will be more tedious to maintain over a long period ownership. So that is just subjective. Again, किसी को matte पसंद है, somebody would like a more traditional finish regarding other maintenance concerns and everything. So all those design changes in the 2023 Seltos are very well wrapped and packaged, and have also resulted in a width increase of around 50 mm, जो मेरे को तो खास महसूस नहीं हुई आकाश. What about you?
Same, मेरे को भी कुछ ऐसे बहुत change नहीं लगा from the dimensions.
And the ground clearance is also around 190 mm, which is good enough.
Yes, and altogether I would say मेरे को design इसका काफी अच्छा लगा. It's really a great job that the designers have been able to improve on the previous Seltos का design, which itself looked really good and really smart and stylish. And ये भी definitely it's a step up, especially the higher models are definitely a step up in terms of looks. And now बात करते हैं इसके इंटीरियर के बारे में. So Amber, why don't you tell our viewers what all has changed majorly, and then we'll talk about what we feel about those changes.
Majorly is the right word, Akash, because काफी major upgrades हुए हैं Seltos में इस साल. Starting with obviously this connected display that you see up front that houses two 10.25-inch screens for the digital instrumentation and even the infotainment. The lower variants get a smaller size instrument cluster. The resolution is very sharp in these new screens, I have to say. I have to give that too. And we are driving the GT line again, so even the roof line, the A-pillars and everything else inside the interior of this cabin is blacked out, which looks really sporty. Uske ilawa, now the car gets dual zone climate control, wireless charging with cooling, 360-degree camera, and even electronic parking brake and ventilated front seats.
Nice. And from a quality standpoint and from a packaging standpoint, this has been done really well. सारी चीज़ें बहुत नीटली आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि पैक की गई हैं. एंड जो डैशबोर्ड पे यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा हार्ड प्लास्टिक देखने को मिले, बट सेंटर लेयर जो है वहाँ पे आपको सॉफ्ट टच मटेरियल मिल रहा है. डोर्स पे आपको सॉफ्ट टच मटेरियल देखने को मिलेगा, विच इज़ नाइस. एंड लाइक आई सेड, जो quality and finishing, like there are no bad looking panels anywhere.
Correct. Compared to the earlier Seltos, जहाँ पर एक बहुत ही बड़ा सा panel used to, expand from the driver side to the infotainment side and used to be really jarring to the driver and his view, this new setup is quite clean and sophisticated, I would say. And existing Seltos owners will definitely be jealous of new owners, I think. And also because it now gets this.
The panoramic sunroof जो finally आ गई है Seltos में. So if you were waiting for that, then this is finally here.
Last year, a friend of mine was wanting to buy the Seltos, but he went with the Creta because that had been a better appointed package for the past couple of years. And Seltos में ये upgrades अब जाके आ रहे हैं.
हाँ, they have been a little late with the update, but देर आए दुरुस्त आए. And also the comfort of the seat is fairly good. Under thigh support, I think मेरे लिए थोड़ा सा, because I'm 6 feet tall, I feel it could have been slightly better. But otherwise the cushion at the back, the bolstering on the side, and even space wise आप देख सकते हैं कि बहुत जगह है मेरे पास. And I can easily, there is this armrest जिसमें दोनों लोगों के लिए जगह है.
We are pretty comfortable inside this cabin.
Very comfortable. And since नई वाली Seltos पुरानी Seltos के dimensions के आसपास ही है, तो अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा difference वैसे भी नहीं आया है. If you like the space of the previous Seltos, then you like this one as well.
Yeah.
So Amber, with all these storage spaces and इतना सारा space हमारे लिए भी है बैठने को and for your luggage and everything, the SUV lover inside you might be really happy because of the practicality factor of this new Seltos.
Yeah, it feels just like home to me because I am used to having that kind of practicality, that kind of refinement around me, and with the added benefit of just going through anything that comes across.
And I also like the fit and finish because whether you love performance vehicles or SUVs, I think everyone would appreciate ki quality achhi ho. And I also like the number of buttons I think that are there, because yes, there is a touchscreen, but also the button, the dial for changing the drive mode and traction control.
Correct.
And even your AC and media controls are all physical buttons, which I appreciate.
You also really get this really cool grab rail here.
Yes.
For the passenger.
So if you drive,
so if I just
badly,
try
I
and
can just
exploit the
select.
7 DCT right now.
Yes.
So before we go any further in the review of the 2023 Seltos, let's check out the rear seat comfort of this SUV. Well, everything is business as usual, and this was a very comfortable second row to begin with, but the ambience here has really been amped up with the addition of the panoramic sunroof, for which the blinds I have off right now. But at the same time, I also get the option of pulling up the blinds for more privacy. Coming back to the rear seats, the bench is obviously wrapped in the latest upholstery that Kia is offering in the Seltos top line, and you still get the piano black finished elements here, and even the silver door handles as well. And also, like always, it still gets a little bit amount of recline angle for those long rides, for that little bit of added extra comfort. Then you also get the center armrest here with 2 cup holes. Nothing fancy here, but nothing missing as well. You also get 2 USB-C charging ports, which is useful considering that all smart devices these days support USB-C charging. You also get 2 air vents and the air purifier system indication right there in the middle.
So now let's talk about how the Seltos is to drive and what all engine and gearbox options you get. So Amber, can you tell us what all engine options is Kia offering this time?
Well, first I'll talk about the top of the line engine option that we are driving right now in the GT line, and that is a 1.5 liter turbocharged petrol, which is putting out 160 PS of power and 253 Newton meters of torque.
Impressive.
Uske baad, there is another petrol and diesel engine option on offer like the earlier models. The diesel generates around 115 PS of power and 250 Newton meters of torque, and the petrol does around the same PS of power but 140 Newton meters of torque.
Okay, so basically वो engine same ही है. I don't think उसमें कुछ difference आया है.
Correct.
power output,
बिल्कुल,
torque
बिल्कुल.
output. So अगर आप वो वाले engine options लेते हैं,
But there are a lot of transmission options on offer.
हाँ, जो कि मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा because as an enthusiast, so what Kia has done is they've given 6-speed manual, 6-speed torque converter automatic. There is a 7-speed DCT which we are driving right now, which is great for enthusiasts. Paddle shifters भी दिए गए हैं.
बिल्कुल.
और तो और आपको अगर बैलेंस चाहिए, आपको मैनुअली गियर शिफ्ट करने बट आपको क्लच का टेंशन नहीं लेना सिटी के अंदर, तो IMT भी है 6 स्पीड. सो अ लॉट ऑफ गियर बॉक्स ऑप्शंस आर देयर. Amber, since you've been driving, tell us what the DCT and this 1.5 liter engine feels like. Pehle you let me know and then I'll tell you my.
So the DCT has seamless shifts as is expected from the gearbox. It works beautifully even if you're downshifting at higher speeds. However, in a typical fashion of DCTs, low speed में थोड़ा jerky रहता है आपका drive.
Okay.
You know, you need to give it time to select the right gear at lower speeds. It will decide on its own. So there is no point in pushing the gearbox when you're at city traffic stop and go speeds and all. Otherwise, on open stretches, थोड़ी सी भी road खुलेगी, so just put your foot down and let the gearbox do its job. It is seamless and super quick.
Nice. And the engine, what do you think about the refinement and the power delivery? कैसी है?
The power delivery is pretty linear from this 1.5 liter turbo engine, and it pulls cleanly upwards of 5500 RPM. That is what I've noticed. We have not been speeding a lot as we are on a national highway right now, which has a speed limit of 80 kmph. but otherwise I have zero complaints from the engine and the gearbox setup and how well they are tuned to each other. And also Akash, अभी जो नई enthusiast cars जो आजकल बहुत ट्रेंड कर रही हैं, they have also proven that you do not need to really compromise on ground clearance where if you need a very well sorted out driving dynamic and performance. And based on that theory, even the Seltos is a pretty good performer.
Correct. I would agree. I mean, obviously it's not, like I said, a sedan or a hatchback with a low center of gravity, but for the size of this vehicle, I think it's been holding its line very well. Now let's pull over to the side because I want to switch places. I want to drive the vehicle. And
Definitely. And let's also please take us through the ADAS functions and how well or not well they are tuned to the car.
Right on. Okay, so अब मैंने अंबर को पीछे भेज दिया है so that I can drive the Seltos and मैं चेक कर पाऊँ कि वाकई में ये एक स्पोर्टी एसयूवी है या नहीं। जो पुरानी Seltos थी वो काफ़ी मज़ेदार थी चलाने में, आई विल अग्री, मैंने चलाई हुई है। एंड थैंकफुली जो नई वाली Seltos है वो भी चलाने में उतनी ही ज़्यादा मज़ेदार है, पर इसमें कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट्स हुए हैं। ऑब्वियसली जो आपको ज़्यादा पावरफुल इंजन मिला है उससे, स्पेशली अगर आप इस तरीके के हाईवे पे हैं तो आप बहुत आराम से ट्रिपल डिजिट स्पीड्स कर सकते हैं। गाड़ी में आपको कोई वाइब्रेशन, कोई अननोइंग रिफाइनमेंट रिलेटेड इश्यूज आपको नहीं लगेंगे। इट्स वेरी स्मूथ, काफ़ी साइलेंट भी है। प्लस यू हैव द एबिलिटी टू स्विच बिटवीन 3 डिफरेंट ड्राइविंग मोड्स यूजिंग दिस डायल राइट हियर। अब मैं जैसे स्पोर्ट में चला गया हूँ, आई कैन गो टू नॉर्मल और इको डिपेंडिंग ऑन वट एवर यू हैव द नीड फॉर। अब मैं इसे स्पोर्ट मोड में रखता हूँ और एक बार ज़रा एक्सेलरेशन टेस्ट करके देखते हैं कि वाकई में ये उठती है या नहीं। सो ऑटो मोड में उसने 1 सेकंड के लिए सोचा एंड देन फिर गियर शिफ्ट करना शुरू किया। सो उसका एक इलाज ये है कि आपके पास पैडल शिफ्टर्स हैं, यू कैन यूज देम टू क्विकली शिफ्ट एंड दे आर वेरी क्विक टू रिस्पॉन्ड एज वेल। द मोमेंट यू यूज द पैडल शिफ्टर्स यू विल सी द गियर चेंज। नाउ कमिंग टू वन हाईलाइट जो मुझे लगा, which is the suspension retuning. Seltos जो थी एक बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस व्हीकल इस वजह से भी थी क्योंकि उसका जो सस्पेंशन था वो काफ़ी अच्छे से ट्यून किया गया था। थोड़ा स्टिफ था बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली अगर आपको एक परफॉर्मेंस व्हीकल चाहिए तो देन यू नीड टू हैव अ स्टिफ सस्पेंशन। With this one, what Kia has managed to do is make it slightly softer both at the front and at the back, which means that this is still very good in terms of performance when you're taking corners, तो भी काफ़ी अच्छे से लाइन मेंटेन करती है। But when you are going over bad roads, जैसे कि आप सिटी में अगर चला रहे हैं तो then it will easily go over most of the undulations, expansion joints, speed breakers. चाहे आप आगे बैठे हो चाहे पीछे बैठे हो, you can feel the difference in the suspension. This is one major change. So that makes this a very good package. बाकी सब brakes and all are brilliant. You have disc brakes on all 4 wheels as standard, so safety उस मामले में भी अच्छी है। And safety is increased by another fact, which is ADAS, like we mentioned earlier. Now ADAS में you get 17 features and there are some really cool ones like the lane keep assist, which means that the vehicle will not only tell you when you are going off the lane, but it will also correct the steering wheel. यानी कि अगर आप चला रहे हो और आप सडनली आप ध्यान नहीं दिया, आप ऐसे हल्का सा कर रहे हो तो देखिए स्टीयरिंग व्हील अपने आप करेक्ट करता है, एक आपको बीप देगा और अपने आप करेक्ट भी करेगा लाइन को। तो ये काफ़ी अच्छा फीचर है कि कभी अगर आपका लैप्स ऑफ कॉन्सेंट्रेशन हो जाता है, सडनली आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया 1-2 सेकंड के लिए, एटलीस्ट दिस विल सेव यू। यू ऑल्सो हैव फीचर्स लाइक फॉरवर्ड कोलिजन अवॉइडेंस, जिससे कि ये होता है कि अगर आपके सामने कोई गाड़ी सडनली रुक जाए एंड आपने अगर ब्रेक नहीं मारा तो गाड़ी ऑटोमेटिकली ब्रेक कर लेगी, विच यू कैन सी द फुटेज ऑफ। हमने एक टेस्ट कंडीशन पे उसे चेक करके देखा एंड इट वर्क्स रियली वेल। कार बहुत इमीडिएटली ब्रेक कर लेती है, विच इज़ गुड। एंड मेरा पर्सनल फेवरेट फीचर एक्चुअली है एग्जिट सेफ्टी, बिकॉज काफ़ी बार क्या होता है व्हेन यू आर एग्जिटिंग अ कार यू माइट नॉट लुक व्हाट इज कमिंग बिहाइंड एंड यू माइट ओपन द डोर, विच इज़ वेरी डेंजरस। सो इसमें बिकॉज आपके पास ब्लाइंड स्पॉट भी है और ये फीचर भी है, देयर आर कैमराज ऑन बोथ साइड्स विच विल लुक एट द ट्रैफिक कमिंग फ्रॉम द बैक एंड दे विल गिव यू अ वार्निंग एंड अलर्ट कि आप दरवाज़ा ना खोलें, एंड इससे काफ़ी एक्सीडेंट्स बच सकते हैं। The other ADAS features also work really well. For example, the feature to safely come out from a parking when you're reversing. अगर कोई और vehicle आ रहा है side से, so then the vehicle will again take matters into its own hands and brake. So all these safety features are really good. They work well and they make this Seltos a safer package and a more tech savvy package as well, which I really like. And जैसे कि मैंने कहा, engine और gearbox तो चलाने में एकदम बढ़िया है ही. I really like the fact that you have a slightly bigger engine with more power, which really gives you that much more breadth to go on those highway journeys.
Okay, so in conclusion, हमने 2023 Seltos को चला लिया, हमने features और safety functions check out कर लिए. Even the design exterior changes are pretty significant, especially the difference between the higher trims and the lower trims. So in terms of driving dynamics also, I'm pretty satisfied with the Seltos क्योंकि it's practical, बढ़िया ground clearance है, and also the suspension tuning is pretty great now. What are your thoughts, Akash?
I also agree. I really like the retuned suspension. It is a good mix between sporty and sensible driving. तो आप अगर फैमिली को लेके जा रहे हैं तब भी आप खुश रहेंगे, अगर आप अकेले गाड़ी चला रहे हैं थोड़ा तेज स्पोर्टी तरीके से तब भी आप खुश रहेंगे. And like I said, the engine performs really well. The ample gearbox options are also a great choice because आपको जिस तरीके की ड्राइविंग पसंद है आपके लिए एक gearbox है.
Correct.
ऊपर से आपको फीचर्स भर के दिए हैं. The ADAS inclusion is also a great thing in the higher trims, that if you want you can have a safer car because that's an active safety feature. So उन सब मामले में I really like the package that has come, and definitely what Kia has done is improved a very good product. Obviously कुछ छोटे मोटे niggles हैं.
Step up.
Yeah, कुछ छोटे मोटे niggles हैं which you and I discussed throughout the review.
Yeah.
So that is largely dependent on personal preferences. So उस हिसाब से I'll say it's a very good upgrade, and the price also. So what are your thoughts on the price? I'll let you know mine as well.
Well, I think it's been very sensibly priced because the lower variants of the 2023 Seltos are effectively priced at the same amounts that the earlier version was being sold at. जहां पर आपको थोड़ा ज्यादा प्रीमियम पे करना पड़ेगा, that is the top end trims, and that is understandable. So I think it's a pretty satisfactory price point that Kia has come up with for this car.
Correct.
So Akash, who do you think is the Seltos perfect for?
A lot of people, especially youthful people, buyers who want something which is sporty, which looks good, and also has
It's premium, it's luxurious.
Yes, and sensible also. So it covers basically almost all bases. हाँ, अगर आपके पास already एक Seltos है पुरानी, upgrade करने का I don't think उतना ज़्यादा sense बनेगा. अब इसमें updates हैं, but I don't think उतने ज़्यादा updates है कि you know spend that same amount again to get the new Seltos. But अगर आप लेने वाले थे segment में कोई गाड़ी, then this is one of the better choices that you can go for today. And अगर आपको घर में दूसरी Seltos चाहिए तो उस केस में भी you're getting basically like we said, same price.
Then Akash, there are also people who are looking for the benefits of an SUV, but not having to deal with all that bulk and heftiness that a full-size SUV brings with it, right?
Correct.
And considering the SUVs that are available in the higher segment than the Seltos, the new upgrades have brought it at par with them in terms of safety functions, features, and all the other technical jazz, as one can put it.
Yeah, correct. So I think in conclusion, I think we can clearly say कि Seltos पहले भी बहुत ज़्यादा famous रही, बहुत ज़्यादा बिकी, and ये नई वाली is just going to continue that legacy. It's going to sell in huge numbers, we know for sure, because बहुत सारे लोग Seltos को पसंद करते हैं for its looks and for how it drives, and I think this is just going to continue that trend. So yeah, that was all from our side today. This was a slightly different review format. अगर आपको अच्छा लगा, then please do let us know in the comments below. अगर आपको कोई question पूछना है इस गाड़ी के related, again you can ask us in the comments and we will answer those questions. And if you like this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe करें हमारे चैनल को if you have not done that अभी तक, bell icon दबाएं ताकि आपको notification मिल जाए, और stay safe when you are out on the road, whether you're driving or riding. This is Akash and Amber signing off for now. Bye bye.
Ciao.